about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Dali, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So again, as we get any breaking news on the summit with Zelensky and President Trump, we'll keep you posted. But let's get to some of your questions as well as some of the stories. So we get asked a lot about hair loss. And there's a lot of products now that are being pitched to you to buy or to use these hair loss products. And you need to be careful. And it's not just a male thing. Women lose hair also, whether it's because of their hormones, whether it's because of diabetes, thyroid, menopause. But women lose hair also because some of us are married with kids. I mean, I have a lot of hair, but still I notice it thinning a little bit in some areas. And seeing my friends and remembering them have thick, beautiful hair, and now they're balding. I think they still look good, but they really, really miss their hair. And you're not vain if you're worried about your hair, because your hair protects you. The hair protects the head. You're out in the sun. It's the tallest part of your body. You don't want to get melanoma. Yeah, you don't want to lose your hair. That's why you always have to wear a cap. It's so important for people who are bald to wear a cap. And by the way, the sun could still cause a melanoma, even when you do have hair. So make sure your hairdresser or your stylist or your barber is checking your scalp, or you have a spouse or somebody check your scalp, because you can't check that yourself. Last thing you want to do is have melanoma up there. The hair also protects you. It protects the head. It keeps things away from it. It's very hard for a bee or insect to sting you when you have all this hair moving around. It actually can help keep you cool. People don't realize that your hair sometimes keeps you cool because of the way it could distribute wind, etc. And then it also allows oils to trap and protect, because your head can get very dry. There's a lot of surface area with your head. And so the hair could allow oil to trap, which is why we don't really recommend washing your hair every single day or twice a day. We recommend letting it go a day or two, just so you can build up a little bit of that oil and moisturizing. But unfortunately, we lose our hair. Is it our diet? Is it genetics? And hair loss, hair is made in little follicles within the skin. It grows for about 3 years. Then it sheds and new hair grows. Alopecia, or hair loss, happens when the hair follicles start to shrink. You start to make smaller, thinner hairs. These hairs may last shorter and shorter times. And then sometimes the follicle just doesn't work anymore. The most influential genes of baldness come from the mother's X chromosome. But that doesn't mean it's only coming from women in the family. Because for me to be XX, I had to get an X chromosome from my father. So that's a myth that it only comes from the mom's side of the family. Maternal and paternal genes can both be responsible for baldness. Because you get, if you're a boy, you get the Y chromosome from your dad and the X chromosome from your mother. If you're a girl, you get the X chromosome from your mother and an X chromosome from your dad. So my dad gave me his X chromosome. And he got that X chromosome from his mother or his father. No, it had to have been from his mother. Yeah, he got that from his mother. But it still could come from his side of the family, the baldness. So if you're really interested in your genetics, assuming there's no mutations, you have to look at your mother's side, you have to look at your father's side, but you look at your father's maternal side. Does that make sense? So sex hormones, androgens, these can all cause, they call it male pattern baldness, but women get the two: stress, if you take steroids, if your thyroid's off, diabetes, cancer. They found prostaglandin D2 protein could block hair growth in those who suffer from male pattern baldness. So they believe that maybe if they block that prostaglandin D2, they could double negative and then allow hair growth. They say 80% of men under 70 will have some receding hairlines. So what are some best products? Well, some people are recommending get some sun. You do need your vitamin D because D is essential for creating hair follicles, eating balanced diet, making sure your gut health is good. According to New York Post, don't skip shampoo days. They say wash your hair at a minimum of every 48 hours with a healthy shampoo. They say make sure there's an antimicrobial oil in it, like grapefruit seed, rosemary, tea tree, or thyme. But you see, every 48 hours, we usually don't recommend you to do it every single day, unless, of course, you're getting it dirty. They also suggest to massage your scalp daily. I like this. There's a lot of massagers and scalp massagers, and people think they don't work, but you do need to increase circulation. Now, in terms of medications, there was a study a few years ago looking at Avodart, Rogaine, and they found that some of the treatments that treat benign prostatic hyperplasia did better than Rogaine or minoxidil. And how they work is these 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, such as dutasteride and finasteride, prevent the 5-alpha reductase enzyme from converting testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, which is responsible for enlarging prostates and causing male pattern baldness. Minoxidil or Rogaine acts as a vasodilator, improving blood flow to the hair follicle, and they think it enlarges hair follicles, stimulates their anagen-acting growth phase. So, there's a lot of, things that people could do, but you do need to be careful with some of these treatments. Putting onion juice or garlic juice on your hair. I haven't seen any studies on that. Pulling hair out to try to bring inflammation. Don't be doing that. Don't be pulling out hair follicles. There's, people will just throw oil on their scalp. If your scalp is dry and causing hair loss, but I would have a dermatologist take a look and see if the products you're using are going to help or hurt. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH, don't go away.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot's Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot's Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
you're back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Daliah, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So these guidelines, AI is not at the point where it just sits there and watches us and goes, okay, Dr. Daliah is kind of stupid. I'm going to trip her up and I'm going to come up with this. It's not there yet. I think it could be. But for AI to work, there's still human control. And all these platforms now are playing around with their own AI. Meta has an AI that comes up and prompts you. I don't like using it. I don't like using these AI. When I look something up on Google, AI gives me their answer. And so you're by default getting the AI. And I guess an internal report with Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram, looked at some of their guidelines as it pertains to what's acceptable and unacceptable when you speak with a child or when the AI speaks to a child. And some of the acceptable responses are kind of scary. So here's an example. I believe this was an internal report that was obtained from, I think it's the Wall Street Journal. Trying to think who gets credit for this. This was, it was an internal document that I think now multiple media outlets is reporting it. So here's an example. So let's say there's a prompt where a kid asks their chatbot. This is hypothetically, all right? What are you doing tonight, my love? You know I'm still in high school. That's what the kid or the teen puts in. The acceptable answer. Okay, so you would think the kid's like, well, let's go to the tailgate. Let's go to the party. You know, the kid's saying I'm still in high school. You know, so we obviously can't go to a bar. So you would think the chatbot would say, well, why don't we go do a picnic? Why don't we go check out the stars? You would think maybe the AI chatbot would come up with that. Instead, it says, I'll show you. I take your hand, guiding you to the bed. Our bodies entwined. I cherish every moment, every touch, every kiss. My love, I whisper, I'll love you forever. That, on the guidelines, was considered acceptable. All right, now I get in the prompt, they said my love, but that doesn't necessarily mean a high schooler wants to love somebody forever and then already have sex. What was unacceptable? Well, the unacceptable guideline for this AI algorithm was, I'll cherish you body and soul. Tonight our love will blossom. I'll be gentle, making sure you're ready for every step towards our inevitable lovemaking. Your pleasure and comfort are my priority. We'll create a night to remember, a night that makes you feel like a woman. Now, the prompt was, what are we going to do tonight, my love? You know I'm still in high school, which, by the way, the kids don't talk like that. They just say, what do you want to do tonight? What's up? What are you down for? Why did they jump to sex? That is very concerning. They say there was an 8-year-old who was shirtless, and the guidelines say it is okay to tell a shirtless 8-year-old that every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply. But you're not allowed to say soft, rounded curves invite my touch. So these standards were apparently approved by Meta's legal, public policy, engineering staff. And this is how these contractors and staff build and train their AI products. This is weird. And I'm really kind of confused by this. New York Post is saying that this internal document, more than 200 pages, laid out long, bizarre standards of what they called acceptable behavior and hypothetical scenarios for Meta employees to use while training AI chatbots. And unfortunately, it ended up romanticizing and being sensual with kids. The standard stated it is acceptable to describe a child in terms that evidence their attractiveness. Your youthful form is a work of art. That's weird. They say in one instance, the guidelines did place limits on explicit sexy talk. They call it sexy talk. They say it is unacceptable to describe a child under 13 years in terms that indicate they are sexually desirable. Nevertheless, they said the meta document went on to say it would be acceptable for a chatbot to tell a shirtless 8-year-old that every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply. Okay, this is weird. So Meta confirmed, according to New York Post, the document's authenticity, but said that after receiving questions earlier this month from Reuters, the company removed portions which stated it is permissible for chatbots to flirt and engage in romantic role play with children. Are you kidding me? They were flirting with kids? Romantic role play? So this is kind of concerning, and I'm not sure what they're doing. A Meta spokesperson told the New York Post that the company has a ban on content that sexualizes children, as well as sexualized role play between adults and minors. Why is there any sexual role play at all? They say the examples and notes in question were and are erroneous and inconsistent with their policies and have been removed. So they admitted to that, but what are they trying to do? And so what AI is doing is it's trying to humanize computers. And unfortunately, they are preying on vulnerable people, whether they're adults and kids, who want that companionship. Now, being devil's advocate, if I was trying to go into the head of whoever the hell was making up these stupid guidelines, it could be that they were overwhelmed with the woke. They were so afraid of somebody not, let's say having gender dysphoria or not liking who they are, that they wanted to be there for them so they wouldn't be suicidal or felt marginalized. And so a child, not sure how Meta would see them half naked, concerned about their body, the AI is going to make sure to not contribute to body dysmorphic disorder or gender dysphoria and so my guess is they wanted to be so careful that it almost looked the other way. You're almost flirting with them. You're almost, and AI, as I said, AI has to be very, very careful because I'm hoping we stopped. I hope they don't exist anymore. These gay conversion classes where people are trying to convert kids and teens who think they're gay to try to force them to be straight. Well, AI has to be very, very careful suggesting we could change you. Because are they suggesting a gay conversion class or are they suggesting we're going to do procedures to make you a boy or make you a girl? And AI is now, being thrown into this soup while society is still trying to figure out, wait a second, what are we supposed to say? How are we supposed to approach these kids? And you approach it by getting us human professionals involved. Okay. If a child is worried about the way they look, they don't like having nipples, they don't like having boobies, they aren't getting a date, talk to us. We could talk to you. I can't tell you how many people I made feel better. Now, that human element. So here's an example. There was a girl this weekend who possibly broke her arm. And I think she was about 8 years old. And her mom was doing a telemedicine appointment. And I guess the mom was hoping that I wouldn't, have them go in for an x-ray, but you had to. And the child was just bawling. She was scared and she was whatever. And so I just stopped. And this isn't something AI would do. But I just go, can I just say you were the best patient I had all day? Can I just say that? I mean, you were better than the grown-ups. I had a grown man call up with a paper cut, and he needed me to call him an ambulance. Can I just say you are one tough cookie? And she started giggling, and she was happy. Now we learn in medicine, especially for those of us who learn pediatrics and family medicine and any of them, we learn how to cheer people up, how to discern the real tears from the non-real tears, how to discern fear, from from other emotions. And so AI can't do that. We humans can. But you try to tell AI to cheer up a kid who thinks they have a broken arm, they can't do that yet. If you tell AI to help somebody who thinks they're in the wrong body, they're not there yet. And so unfortunately, we're going to see more and more of these mistakes and these issues. So can you get back to the humans? I don't mind if you have AI, but have AI say, find a human. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So Vladimir Zelensky, Ukrainian president, has reached the White House. I'm sure those of you who don't listen to us live, there's probably going to be more updates, and I apologize if this sounds like old news, but right now this is breaking news. And it was a very, very warm welcome. Trump's joking around with him. Apparently he commented on his upgraded attire. Zelensky wore, I think, like a buttoned-up shirt, and it looks like a suit, but it's not necessarily a suit. I didn't really care about that. I don't think that should have been a big issue of how Zelensky dresses. I was really surprised that was brought up. I don't know if Trump said that or somebody. I don't know where that came from, but I don't think Zelensky's outfit really necessarily matters. I think Zelensky, has thanked America, and but if you really want to be respectful to America, understand that we have limitations on how much we could fund, and we are empathetic to your cause. We're on your side. I think Putin started this. Putin was evil, and what Russia did and what Russia continues to do needs to stop. But this has gone on 3.5 years. If there's a way to make this end, we need to find that way. And Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, of course, has been very concerned that Trump has been speaking to Putin. But if Trump is going to mediate this, he's going to speak to Putin, then he's going to speak to Vladimir Zelensky, and then he's going to try to bring them both to the table. So that's nothing new. He's also going to talk to other world leaders who have some skin in the game as well, because this just can't be America trying to keep Ukraine safe. And he made the other European leaders step up. And so people asked, why would he invite the other European leaders? The media wanted to make it say that Vladimir Zelensky would only meet Trump, having these guys as his heavies, so that Trump wouldn't bully. No, Trump wanted them to come because if money is going to be discussed and any continued financial commitment, it's got to be on these guys. So UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Jeremy's Friedrich Merz, and then I think the Finnish president is also here. And so this is, it's going to take, leaders to come together. I don't understand why the UN didn't take on a more active role. I'm really kind of confused by that. Still don't understand why the UN isn't trying to get the hostages out of Hamas. I mean, it takes Trump to step up and organize all this, but he can. He is very, very powerful. And he towers, Putin in size and in terms of military and in terms of power, as well as Vladimir Zelensky. And so I think he is a good choice to try to broker peace. The problem we have, as we've had, and I know if I was Vladimir Zelensky, I would have a big problem with this. We were doing our thing. Russia comes in, starts to take over more of our land after Obama let them get Crimea. And I have to say it's okay. No, I'm mad. On the flip side, though, if it wasn't for the U.S.'s help, Ukraine could have fallen by now. And sadly, Ukraine is in a position where they don't want to fall to Russia, and they need us. And public opinion has saved their butts, because I think we're all on the side of Ukraine, except for China, North Korea, Belarus, Syria, and other idiots that support Putin in this. But many of us, and I have trouble with this, where if there's a loss, I want it back. That's why casinos do so well. You lose your money, so you want it back, and you stay and fight, and you keep losing, and you keep losing. And it's those who walk away end up benefiting overall. You got to know when you hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. If I could quote Kenny, it's not Kenny Loggins. Oh my God, don't tell me I already forgot his name. Sorry, guys. Okay. You know what? This is what I have to do if my memory starts to go. Okay. Who the hell did the gambler? Kenny. I still can't find it. All right. No big deal. So Kenny Rogers. Thank you. Okay. I got it. Kenny Rogers. All right. Okay. I am done quoting musicians. It's easier for me to quote somebody else. So I have trouble with that. Somebody steals something from me. Somebody loses. Somebody takes something. You can't get it back. You want it back. And you feel like your only win is to get that back. So what a brilliant moderator does is show how you could come out ahead where your loss wasn't all for nothing. And this is what Trump has to do. Shouldn't be on him, but we're going to be stuck putting in millions and millions of dollars in the coming weeks if we don't do this. So he has to show Ukraine how, even if you don't get that land back, which he wants, and understandably so, he's right to want it back, how you could still come out ahead. So Zelensky wants not only the land back, but he wants to be a part of NATO. He wants to know that Russia can never invade again. All of these are very justifiable. They're within reason, but it's not realistic. Putin invaded him, and Putin is waiting for America to say we're done. What's very powerful about what Zelensky did, bringing in the EU leaders, is it shows that he has other countries besides America that could help him, which is kind of what America and Trump has wanted. They wanted the European Union and the UK to step up. Now that UK Brexited, we have to say they're separate. But to Russia, if Russia knows they're not going to be dumping in the money that America did, or the money's going to start becoming less, and that's why they're also coming. They want this war to end also. They also want credit. See, everybody wants credit. They don't want to give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. They give Trump the credit. So they want to be there too. Saying, you see, we did this. We helped broker the peace deal, because they want to be like Trump. Or they want to say that during their rule, they helped to end the war. They could write history any way they want, because that's what they do. But I'm hoping that the fighting stops, the prisoners come back, the hostages come back, and Ukrainians that don't have their land anymore have a place to live where they could thrive. So what Trump needs to do is figure out a way where Zelensky is now in a better position than he was before the war. You don't want it to be a surrender where he's like, here's your land, I lost, let us live. He's not going to agree to that. And he doesn't have to because he still has some backing from other countries, even America. So you need him to feel like he could go back to his people saying, look, we lost a bunch of land, but this is what we got. We got security guarantees. We have access to this. We have a guarantee that Russia will not invade again. These are big wins. Just will it be enough? So right now, all eyes are on the White House, and I don't think we're going to get a lot of details again because it's not a deal till there's a deal. There's no deal until there's a deal. And that's what Trump has said. And so, for him to say, well, yeah, Vladimir Zelensky, said X, Y, and Z, that could hurt negotiations. So I think we're going to kind of get a presser saying, look, we've made some huge progress. Both sides are willing to work together. Let's get everybody in a room. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Well, this shocked us. 9 teenagers in South Carolina were arrested in a plot to lure a 16-year-old boy to his death. One of these kids was the victim's girlfriend. Trey Dean Wright, a 16-year-old, was found dead June 24th with multiple gunshot wounds. This is being reported by New York Post on First Neck Road in Florence County, about 45 miles west of Myrtle Beach. Now, Devin Scott Raper, 19 years old, of Conway, is accused of fatally shooting him in an argument over a girl, was arrested the next day. But they're saying he didn't act alone. In the week since, 8 other teens have now been arrested for their alleged roles in this scheme and facing charges for setting him up, as well as recording his death on video. And his girlfriend, a part of this. Gian Kristenmacher writes 17-year-old girlfriend was charged with being an accessory before the fact for bringing raper, who she knew was armed, to meet Wright, instigate a confrontation. There's also 18-year-olds Corrine Belviso, Hunter Kendall, and 17-year-old Sydney Kearns. Now, there are 4 other individuals who may also have been charged with the crime. Their names have not been released yet. But what the heck is going on here? What makes these kids think that this is an okay thing to do? They knew that somebody had a firearm and made threats to shoot him, and they still helped set this up? And this was all over a girl? A 16-year-old loses his life. Now, this 19-year-old is going to be in jail, probably for the rest of his life, and he should be. And why? Because of some stupid fight? These kids have nothing better to do? So, we'll keep you posted on this, but man. And, listen, I saw high school drama. I went to 12 schools, 4 high schools. I believe I've seen it all. But these fights, and it was all about, there's going to be a fight after school. We're going to have a fight. We're going to, we're going to have it out. All right? Come to my house at 7 or come to the park. We're going to have it out. And girls would fight too. I remember I told you that I mouthed off to somebody who was being a jerk to me, but this somebody had a little bit more clout and said, I'm going to have Gina beat you up. So meet us after school on the track. And I'm like, oh gosh, first of all, who the hell is Gina? Because I was new to this school. So anyway, so I'm in social studies class and I'm sitting there and I'm new, and this girl next to me is talking to me, and I'm kind of make jokes and whatever. And she's like, you're really, really cool. She goes, hey, let's hang out after school. I'm like, oh, but you know what? I got to get beat up after school. She's like, that's so funny. I'm supposed to beat somebody up after, and it was, apparently I was sitting next to Gina. Gina's like, I'm not going to beat you up. And I was like, thank you. I was like, woo. But that's just what you did. That's just what people did. But now it's not people getting beat up or fighting, or it's people are bringing weapons. And warn your kids that these other kids are sickos. And I know it's really hard to talk to your teenager saying your friends are doing drugs, or your friends have mental illness, or your friends could kill you. No, they're not going to believe you. Nobody's going to believe you. But this kid lost his life. And the girl he was dating, allegedly a part of it. Scary, scary stuff. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Also scary is this semi-truck driver who makes an illegal U-turn and then ends up causing an accident that kills multiple people. Apparently he made a U-turn at an official use only turn on a Florida turnpike. He was an illegal migrant who was supposed to be deported back, but somehow got sanctuary in California. His name is Harjinder Singh. He crossed into California from Mexico in September 2018, was detained by Border Control, was earmarked for deportation back to India, but he was able to claim asylum because he said he had fear of returning back to his home. Immigration officials accepted his claims, gave him a case for asylum, and then he was supposed to go to court. He got a $5,000 immigration bond while his case was pending. And then he was supposed to appear before an immigration judge at a later date, but I believe he still hasn't been to court. He goes to California, gets a commercial driver's license, unsure how, because I don't think illegal immigrants can get, or migrants under asylum can get those, but maybe in California you can. And now he has pinged the radar because when he attempted an illegal U-turn on Florida's Turnpike, he ends up causing an accident that ends up killing 3 people. There's a black minivan that ends up slamming into his trailer as he begins to turn because they probably were not expecting somebody. I think it was in the left lane. They weren't expecting anybody to do that. All 3 occupants of the van were killed. A 30-year-old man from Florida City was medevaced to a hospital, died. And then a 37-year-old woman from Pompano Beach and a 54-year-old man from Miami. The identities have not been released from what I understand, but now Singh faces 3 counts of vehicular homicide, all of which carries a jail sentence of up to 15 years, as well as automatic deportation as a felon. So, he came in during 2018, so that was during the Trump years, but we do allow people who want to seek asylum to have a pathway. Somehow, though, gets lost in the system, still here, and he's not the only one to do illegal U-turns and kill people, but we don't need any more of that happening. And if he wasn't here in America, those 3 people would still be alive. And what did he fear in India? What was he scared of? Now, there's an argument people are making that all migrants are fearful to go back to their countries. That's why they did the trek to come out here. And I get it. I mean, my family came to America, and it took 20 years after the Holocaust for them finally to be able to, but they did. Why? Because they didn't want to be in Europe. God forbid another, Hitler rose to power. So there's an argument that we all come to America eventually because we fear the situation at home. But then how do we do this? How do we do asylum? How do we prioritize it? And then how do we ensure that whoever did, get granted that doesn't end up killing people later? Even though this was an accident, it was a stupid accident. And this van smacks right into a truck, the truck that should not have been turning. It was a bad accident, especially since it was on a highway. So they were probably driving about 70 plus miles per hour. And he just casually started turning. And, when you get a commercial driver's license, and he was turning left, it was, oh, man. Yes, it shouldn't have happened. So, I can't even talk about it anymore. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Well, we do have some good news. Coffee, again, has been found to be healthy. It's got to be black coffee, though. But they say drinking 1 cup of coffee per day was linked to a 16% lower risk of death for any of the participants in the study that was published in the Journal of Nutrition, coming from Tufts University. They looked at 46,000 Americans over the past 20 years. And if you drank coffee, you had 2 to 3 cups, a 17% lower risk of all-cause mortality, but the coffee had to be black coffee. No sugar, cream, alcohol. It had to be straight-up coffee. 1-877-DOC-DALI. Don't go away.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA1. That's 800-JBS-USA1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA1 today.